Coming to you live from Edinburgh Baseball Stadium in the three-time All-American city of Edinburgh, this is Bronx Women's Soccer. Tonight, the Bronx return home at long last after a 6-match road trip that saw the Bronx win all but one match. And now, entering their final non-conference match, the Bronx are 5-1-3. Here's how they've done it. They rank 38th in the NCAA in save percentage. They rank 53rd in saves per match, 60th in winning percentage, 85th in shutout percentage, 93rd in goals against average. Translation, they don't allow the opposition to score. And remember, those numbers are out of 332 teams in the NCAA. The Bronx have allowed more than one goal just once in a match this year, and that was their only loss, the 5-1 loss to Abilene Christian. If you take that match out of the equation, then the Bronx would have outscored their opponents by a count of 14-4 this year. Now, you can't take that match out, so they've outscored their opponents 15-9, but no matter how you slice it, that's a pretty good advantage, and the Bronx will finish their first season with a winning non-conference record, which is a heck of an accomplishment for a first-year team. They got off to the third-best start ever by a brand-new Division I program in the history of the state of Texas. Ironically, the team that put it to an end, Abilene Christian, had the second longest streak in their first year at the Division I level. The Bronx already with 3 ties. That sets a non-conference record for most ties by a first-year team in Texas and ties the record for overall most ties. Take of that what you will, but it means the Bronx haven't been losing. Aubrey Coley has been incredible in goal. She has 3 shutouts this season. Erica Gonzalez has played a pair of matches herself, although not since the start of this road trip. Coley played the last 5. Gonzalez has a shutout herself, a .5 goals against average, and Gonzalez is back between the pipes tonight. The Harlingen South alum playing in front of her hometown fans in the Bronx non-conference finale and first home match in 3 weeks. Bronx coming off of a scoreless double overtime draw at Texas Southern on Wednesday. If you can believe it, it was the 5th home opener the Bronx played in this season, and the Bronx didn't lose any of them. Aubrey Coley made 2 saves for her 3rd shutout, but what was impressive to me, Jessica Suarez, 4 shots on goal, and although none of them went in, she's been very aggressive. She's been starting lately. Coach Bugariu is going to talk about that a little bit during our pre-match interview, which is coming up in just a couple of moments. So let's take a timeout. Coming up on Bronx pre-match, it's the Coach's Corner. I'll chat with Bronx head coach Glad Bugariu. This is Bronx Soccer.
Here, we understand how a team is the result of being part of something larger than yourself, creating a better outcome and a better tomorrow. Doctors Hospital Renaissance is proud to support the University of Texas Pan American Bronx.
Oh, the right wing goes for the tie, and he does it again! Nolan straight to the hoop, ties the game! With 2, the desperation heave goes in! Jack Mulder from half court! Bronx win! Bronx win! Get your Bronx basketball season tickets now by calling 665-2221 or logging on to UTPABronx.com. This commercial is brought to you by Lax Furniture, an official sponsor of the University of Texas Pan American Intercollegiate Athletics.
They are the dreamers and the promise of the future. They are the hope who will lead us to tomorrow. They are the givers who have the passion to serve. They are the visionaries who will celebrate discovery. They will make a difference. They will change South Texas.
Welcome back to Bronx Pregame. It's the Coach's Corner. Jonah Goldberg with Bronx head coach Glad Bugariu. And Coach, 6 on the road. It's been 3 weeks, but welcome home.
Yeah, finally home. We're very excited. I know the players are very excited, and we're hoping to put on a good performance tonight.
What's it been like being on the road for such a long period of time?
Well, for us, it's preparation for the future. We want our players to play in difficult conditions, difficult places. So when we play in the WAC, it's all the places, they're easy.
Yeah, and a lot of different types of field. You have the higher grass, you get the turf field, the lower grass. You got a little bit of everything. So when you come home, is there just more of a sense of stability now?
Of course. I mean, we know what we're expecting. We know it's our home field. We've played on it only one time, which makes it challenging. But we're ready to play, and I think we'll have a very good game today.
Texas Southern match was a match you played in difficult conditions, weather, field, etc. So were you happy to come out there with a scoreless draw?
Definitely. We'll take the draw. We take the fact that we had no injuries, which is also important in those conditions. And ultimately, you know, anybody can go there, Texas Southern, and they'll struggle. So for us to take a draw, we're happy.
Jessica Suarez has been in the starting lineup recently. What have you seen out of her?
She's starting to play. She's the player we recruited now, and she's doing fantastic. So we're very happy with her.
And Aubrey Coley has been everywhere for you in the net.
Yeah, Aubrey's a calming influence on our team and has made the saves when we needed them. And so far, she's proven her worth.
Almost the end of the non-conference season. What kind of growth have you seen from these freshmen so far?
Tremendous growth. I mean, like I said, we've played this tough away schedule in terms of locations, and we've struggled there in those places sometimes, but we've always come out with a result. So for us, that just builds character, builds determination, and allows us to be comfortable both at home and on the road.
Do you talk to the team and let them know about the history that they've been making this year, whether it's one of the best starts in the history of a Texas program and being 5-1-3, which is something that's virtually unheard of for a brand new team?
I mean, the players are on the internet 24/7 with their phones, so really they know what's going on. They know the stats. They know the history. It's nothing I have to remind them of. It's well published and it's out there.
What does it mean to you to be off to such an amazing start?
To me, honestly, I knew we recruited a pretty good team for a first-year team. We wanted to set a good foundation for the future, and I think we've so far proven that. Let's see how it goes for the next few weeks.
Final non-conference match of the season comes today. Is there anything that you look to do differently, knowing that it's your last chance to get people in and try different things before WAC play begins?
No, we continue doing the same things we've been doing. We take every game very seriously. We want to win every game. So it doesn't matter conference, non-conference. We approach them exactly the same.
What have you been able to learn about Our Lady of the Lake?
Not as much as we would like. Scouting reports haven't been as forthcoming as when we play other teams, and there hasn't really been any videos. So it's a bit of an unknown opponent, but we're very prepared, I think.
All right, Coach. Thanks a lot and good luck.
Thank you so much.
That was Bronx head coach Glad Bagariu. That'll do it for a Bronx pre-match. We'll take a time out. When we come back, we'll have your starting lineups and opening kick. This is Bronx Soccer. Well,
we pursue excellence in the classroom and strive to achieve our potential. We compete on the field with integrity,
on the court with respect,
and in the pool with distinction.
We are strong leaders in our community and gain values from our biggest fans.
We continue the legacy of commitment to our universities, to our coaches, to our teammates, and most importantly to you.
We learn, we compete, we inspire.
We are the Western Athletic Conference.
Here, we understand how a team is the result of being part of something larger than yourself, creating a better outcome and a better tomorrow. Doctors Hospital at Renaissance is proud to support the University of Texas Pan American Bronx.
They are the dreamers and the promise of the future. They are the hope who will lead us to tomorrow. They are the givers who have the passion to serve. They are the visionaries who will celebrate discovery. They will make a difference. They will change South Texas.
The ball on the right wing goes for the tie, and he does it again! Nolan straight to the hoop, ties the game! With 3, with 2, the desperation heave goes in! Jack Mulder from half court! Bronx win! Bronx win! Get your Bronx basketball season tickets now by calling 665-2221 or logging on to UTPABronx.com. This commercial is brought to you by Lax Furniture, an official sponsor of the University of Texas Pan American Intercollegiate Athletics. Welcome back out to Edinburgh Baseball Stadium. Jonah Goldberg riding with you as we count down to the start of this match between the UTPA Bronx and the Our Lady of the Lake University Saints. Well, the Bronx with the best non-conference record in the WAC this season. At 5-1-3, Utah Valley right behind them though at 5-2-2. Kansas City 4-3-2. Seattle U is 4-3-0. Grand Canyon 1-5-1. Bakersfield 1-7-1. Chicago State 1-7-0 in their first year of existence, and New Mexico State 1-8-0. They're the Bronx' next opponent. Bronx the only team in action today, though. A fuller slate tomorrow as Utah Valley's at Utah, Bakersfield's at Florida Gulf Coast, Eastern Illinois at Chicago State, New Mexico State hosts UNLV, and Bakersfield, no, check it out, that's men's soccer I'm about to give you, from Grand Canyon rather, host Lipscomb as we enter the final weekend of non-conference play. Next week it starts for real. The Bronx hosts New Mexico State, 7 p.m. right here at Edinburgh Baseball Stadium, in what is expected to be the final Edinburgh Baseball Stadium before the opening of the new UTPA soccer and track and field complex, which is just down the block from here. Bronx expecting to be able to play 4 matches there, starting October 10th against Chicago State. If it's at that complex, it'll be a 4 p.m. start. And October 12th against Kansas City at 1. October 17th against Utah Valley at 4. October 19th against Seattle at 1. Should be really exciting to get to see that new complex. We've been able to, a lot of us have been able to watch it as it's been going up. It's beautiful. The field is fantastic. The stands are going up right now. They're just about done. The parking lot is really the last big thing left, and they're working on that already. The track parts are already in. It is a great field for college soccer, and I really think people are going to be impressed when they get their first opportunity to go out there and well, they're finishing up the starting lineups out there, which means we're just moments away from the national anthem. So we'll take a timeout. When we come back, we'll have your starting lineups, and we'll have the opening kickoff. This is Bronx Soccer.
They are the dreamers and the promise of the future. They are the hope who will lead us to tomorrow. They are the givers who have the passion to serve. They are the visionaries who will celebrate discovery. They will make a difference. They will change South Texas.
Here, we understand how a team is the result of being part of something larger than yourself, creating a better outcome and a better tomorrow. Doctors Hospital Renaissance is proud to support the University of Texas Pan American Bronx.
Ball the right wing, goes for the tie, and he does it again! Nolan straight to the hoop, ties the game! With 3, with 2, the desperation heave goes in! Jack Fogler from half court! Bronx win! Bronx win! Get your Bronx basketball season tickets now by calling 665-2221 or logging on to UTPABronx.com. This commercial is brought to you by Lax Furniture, an official sponsor of the University of Texas Pan American Intercollegiate Athletics.
We pursue excellence in the classroom and strive to achieve our potential. We compete on the field with integrity,
on the court with respect,
and in the pool with distinction.
We are strong leaders in our community and gain values from our biggest fans.
We continue the legacy of commitment to our universities, to our coaches, to our teammates, and most importantly to you.
We learn, we compete, we inspire.
We are the Western Athletic Conference.
Welcome back out to Edinburgh Baseball Stadium, or as it should be called today, Edinburgh Soccer Stadium. Jonah Goldberg riding with you as we get ready for the start of this evening's matchup between the UTPA Bronx and the Our Lady of the Lake University Saints. Time to get you to the starting lineups, and we will start with visiting Our Lady of the Lake. At forward, a 5'1" sophomore out of Bulawayo, Zimbabwe, number 4, Haley Tierney. At forward, a 5'6" freshman out of Kansas City, Missouri, number 5, Maggie Miller. At defender, a 5'4" sophomore out of Katy, number 6, Daniela Colina. At defender, a 5'5" junior out of McAllen. Tri-captain of the Saints, number 8, Alyssa Villarreal. A 5'4" junior forward out of New Braunfels, number 9, Tegan Luckymeyer. A 5'6" senior captain midfielder out of Katy, number 10, Stephanie Diaz. A 5'4" junior midfielder out of Houston, number 12, Stefania Vasquez. A 5'3" sophomore defender out of Spring Branch, number 21, Pauline Fields. A 5'5" senior defender out of Rowlett, number 25, Erica Thompson. And a 5'1" sophomore midfielder out of Houston, number 26, Amaris Tavares. In goal tonight for the Saints, a 5'6" sophomore out of New Braunfels, number 2, Gabriela Lopez. Head coach of the Saints in his second season is Arthur Salazar, assisted by Shane Hurley and Osiris Estrada. The Saints are 2-4. As for the host UTPA Bronx, starting at forward, a 5'9" freshman out of Orange, California, who's recently moved to Edinburgh with her entire family, number 2, Allison Smith. A 5'4" junior out of McKinney at defender, number 3, Hadley Tucker. At midfielder, a 5'7" freshman out of El Paso, number 5, Emily Ortiz. A 5'5" freshman defender out of Stockholm, Sweden, number 6, Frida Farstad Eriksson. A 5'8" freshman forward out of Miami, Florida, number 7, Jessica Suarez. A 5'4" freshman midfielder out of Burien, Washington, number 9, Amy Intule. A 5'6" freshman midfielder out of El Paso, number 14, Zinnia Hanig. A 5'4" freshman defender out of Miami, Florida, number 15, Marcela Ramirez. A 5'10" sophomore defender out of El Paso, number 16, Renee Bruns. And a 5'5" freshman midfielder out of El Paso, number 25, Andrea Barrera. In between the pipes tonight for the Bronx, a 5'8" freshman out of Harlingen, number 18, Erica Gonzalez. Head coach of the Bronx in his first season is Mr. Glad Bagariu. He's assisted by Lindsay Vera and Sylvia Telespan. The Bronx enter this match with a record of 5-1-3. They're 1-0 at home this season. They tied their last match, and they won the one before it. Referees today, Alejandro Cantu, the assistant referee Raymond Zapata, and Thomas Smith, and the alternate official is Edward Garcia. Bronx are in the white uniforms moving left to right. The Saints in blue moving right to left across your computer screen. Not a bad crowd on hand, and still filing in. A little more spread out than they were last time, as last time everybody sat right behind the goal that the Bronx are attacking at in the first half, whereas this time they've split up between the two nets. But another really strong crowd for the second ever home match in the history of UTPA women's soccer as we are underway. Islanders controlling at the midfield right now, but Farstad Eriksson takes it over, and she kicks it all the way back to Gonzalez. And Gonzalez will punt it out to the midfield. Intulai goes for the header. And the Saints pick it up. Volleyball on the brain today, folks. My apologies. Suarez sends it ahead to Intulai. Now back to Smith in the middle. She kicks it high and over the netting, and that'll bounce beyond the goal. So it will go to Gabriela Lopez, and she can kick it out and start the fresh play. Comes all the way to midfield, and Smith kicks it back, and that's going to head right back to the net, where Lopez picks it up and tosses it out over to Colina. Sends it head into the middle of the field, and there's Hadley Tucker to intercept. Brun's trying to get involved. Ball comes forward. Colina has it again near side. Now out of midfield, far side, Erickson trying to get involved. She's got it for the Bronx and sends it back to Ramirez. Ramirez crosses it over to the left. I believe that's Ortiz. Little chippy over there trying to get past the player who was marking her. A foul, and this one is going against the Bronx. So Our Lady of the Lake will get a free kick. Right in front of the edge of the Bronx bench, so pretty far out. The Bronx will set up the Great Wall, but really, yeah, that ball's going to just head on the ground towards them, but it gets towards the goal box until the Bronx intercepts and bring it up. Far side, Erickson streaking up the field. Bronx have a 3-on-3 developing up to Suarez. Has her pocket picked, and that ball's coming back to the midfield, where Ramirez knocks it forward. Now it comes back, and that's going to be offsides. Luckemeyer snuck in front of the defense, just barely, but she's just barely in front of one defender, but she was clearly in front of two before the ball was. So the Bronx will start it back up. Comes towards Intulai, and it touches off of her and then trickles out. So it'll be a throw in for Our Lady of the Lake. Ramirez almost gets tripped up, but stays with it. Bringing it down left sideline. Goes up ahead for Barrera. Into the box, trying to cross it, and intercepted, I think, by Colina, no, by Villarreal, actually. She was looking for Suarez. Barrera's got it again towards the corner. Suarez camped out in front, Intulai to her right. Barrera getting doubled, looking for somewhere to get it to. Unable to, though. Erica Thompson comes in, takes it away, and Our Lady of the Lake streaks down the field right to left. Ball comes ahead into the goal box. Shot goes wide. Nearly a good opportunity for Our Lady. It was a good opportunity for Our Lady of the Lake. Bronx defense just barely able to get back in time. We're a couple minutes in. No score between the Bronx and the Saints. Tucker with the ball. Finds Bruns in the middle. Has it taken away, and streaking in to try and steal it back. Ball comes back to Ramirez. Turns around, feeds left Ortiz. Up the sideline, Barrera. Back in the middle. Looks like Bruns. Farstad Erickson sends it up. Barrera trying to get around the defender. That ball's heading out. Crowd a little quiet so far. Remember, they were just electric from the very start at the home opener, but that's to be expected at a home opener when it's your first ever home match in the history of a program. One well-placed shot, though. You could see the lid coming off of this crowd. It looks like one of the frats is starting to file in right now. You can see well, I can see, you probably can't, but the kid with, or young adult with a flag that has some of those Greek letters on it. That could do the trick as well. Tavares. Pass it to her right over to Villarreal for Our Lady of the Lake. Villarreal from McAllen, which is right near here. You wonder if she ever faced Gonzalez in high school. Of course, Villarreal plays defense, so if it came up, it probably wasn't often, as a long shot goes wide of the net. But she plays defense here. I don't know what she played in high school, but if you assume it was the same position, then ball nearly knocks over one of the players not in the match, which means it's out of bounds. Bronx trying to get another opportunity, keeping the pressure on. Centering pass, shot off the post. And now you can hear the crowd getting a little more energy. Bronx have white jerseys swarming all over that side of the field, but Our Lady of the Lake doing a nice job of trying to clear it out towards the middle. Up near midfield. That sounds like a foul. Renee Bruns was in on that play, and you know, it's interesting, Bruns, a sophomore. She's the only non-freshman on the field right now for UTPA. There aren't many non-freshmen as it is. 4 to be exact. 17 freshmen. 17 true freshmen, I should say. Bruns, a transfer from Nichols State. As Tucker throws it in. Ramirez moves it straight up the field, looking left, finds Ortiz. Is it high and in the middle? Gonzalez back to play it in front of the net, and she'll kick it out to Farstad Erickson. Nice pressure by Our Lady of the Lake there, not giving up on it. It's Tucker. Sends it up the sideline, and it's headed back. Tucker gets under it and pops it into the middle. Suarez comes back from her attacking position to feed Smith. Gets it up to Zinnia Hanig. Hanig back to Smith, back to Hanig. There's somewhere to go with it. She'll just fire it on, but ahead of Intulai, so out of the net to scoop it up is Lopez. We're just about 10 minutes into this match. No score between the Bronx and the Saints. Ramirez streaking up the field. Leaves it back for Intulai. Intulai trying to pass to her left, gets taken out. Ball comes free in the middle. Now heads back towards the Bronx defenders. It's 1-on-4 for Our Lady of the Lake there. A sliding knock away of the ball. It'll head towards the corner, kept in by the Saints. Shot blocked by, I think it's off Ramirez's chest, and it heads out of bounds. A nice save by Erica Gonzalez. Ortiz. Intulai. Suarez. It's over to her right. Tucker trying to keep it in, does. Gives it back to Suarez. It's tripped up. And that's a foul on Our Lady of the Lake. The Bronx will get a free one. Or no. There was no call. So just be a throw-in. A little more tripping up and the fans react. The ball rolls out. Another throw in for Tucker. Intulai right along the sideline. Ball taken away by the Saints. Farstad Erickson grabs it along the little patch of dirt in the middle near side. Tucker. Back to Bruns. Sends it all the way back to Marcelo Ramirez just to chase it a little bit. Getting heavy pressure from Luckemeyer. That ball is going to sail out along the goal line. "13 minutes gone by, no score between the Bronx and the Saints." Shots are even at 2 apiece. 1 on goal for Our Lady of the Lake from Luckemeyer, none for the Bronx. Vasquez kicks it ahead for the Saints. Bruns grabs it for the Bronx. Ramirez sends to her right. Farstad Erickson bringing it up. Lets it fly. Intulai near the goal line. Centering pass. Shot. Goal! Jessica Suarez puts it home. And the Bronx lead 1-0. About 14 minutes in. The Bronx up 1-0. That ball heads out along the goal line. So Erica Gonzalez will get to set up a new play. Jessica Suarez with her second career goal. Amy Intulai picks up her 4th assist. Frida Farstad Erickson gets her 2nd. This one's saved by Lopez. So on the Bronx first shot on goal of the night, the Bronx get their first goal. And it came 1 second after the beginning of the 15th minute, 14:01 on the nose. Well, Suarez has been shooting. She's been playing really well. Coach Bagari talked about that during the pre-match interview. She's earned the starting spot. She's been starting the last few matches. She's been really aggressive and really a nice force in the middle. And the way she's playing, you team that with the way Andrea Barrera has played, and the way Amy Indulai has played, that is an incredibly dangerous front line for anybody. Bronx have succeeded a lot on goal prevention. We talked about that earlier. Because other than one match, they haven't allowed more than one goal in a match. Had 4 shutouts. But you add that to a little goal scoring, and that can turn into something. W's. Bronx have a few of those. 5-1-3 this season, but WAC play starts a week from tonight, and the Bronx know that it's going to be a tough test, but they've passed every test so far. And the development of this team from match 1 to now has been fun to watch. Lady Lake trying to get through. Ramirez walking over her opponent not once but twice to keep the ball away. Been a pretty physical match so far. Suarez. Let's give it off to Indulai, but knocked away. And now Smith sends it forward. And that's going to head ahead of the offense and into the hands of the defense. It is a cloudy evening here in Edinburgh. There are storms in the region. We've had rain consistently the last few days, although, and we had a little rain earlier today here, but so far so good. Tonight, as there is some sign of the sky, although the sun is setting, so the light's taking full effect here at Edinburgh Stadium. Firestad Eriksson fires it forward. Gets sent right back by the Saints. Ortiz streaks forward. It's to Barrera. Barrera sends it straight towards the net, and a one-hop, Lopez picks it up. Bronx starting to get a little more aggressive at the goal. Remember, they had won it off the post earlier. Indulai. Now Suarez, Indulai ahead. It gets past the goalie and trickles just wide of the net. Well, Lopez slid for it, stuck out her right hand, but it went past her hand. Nobody was able to catch up to it to redirect it. Bronx leading 1-0 on a goal by Jessica Suarez. Off passes from Amy Indulai and Frida Farstad Eriksson at the 14:01 mark. We're about 19 minutes in now. Fans starting to get into it a little more. Little trip up in the middle. They'll call that. Saints can start it up fresh. Gonzalez gobbles it up and sends it forward for Barrera. Gets past Smith, so the Saints send it forward. That one's into the goal box. Headed back for a diving Gonzalez, who snaps it up. Smith sends it up on the left side and gets kicked back towards the Bronx bench, and Coach Bagario is up to grab it and send it back towards the field of play. Straight into the Saints defense. The Real sends it. That ball is headed towards the corner and out for a goal kick. A couple of Bronx starting to warm up along the bench area. A pair of Saints warming up as well. Randy Salazar is in, replacing Daniela Colina for the Saints. So the first substitution of the match. About 23 minutes in. Salazar with the ball immediately. Loses it into the Bronx midfielders. Intolai streaking up across the sideline. Coming straight towards the net. Slides, takes out her defender, but can't get the ball to move forward. And then it's sent back towards the Bronx midfield. Tucker kicks it off of Tierney and out, so Bronx get to throw it in. Sends it to Farstad Erickson. But first a whistle, because I guess before the throw-in they were going to allow a substitution. Emily Ortiz is out. And Hannah Presley is in. Presley, 5'6" freshman out of Waxhaw, North Carolina. Saints kick it up into the middle. And off of Bruns. Hanig sends it forward. And that's going, made it out. Bronx tried to save it at the last second, but did get out. Suarez got there, but oh. Bronx doing a nice job of clogging up the midfield. Tucker. Kick is intercepted by Vasquez, which she gets back. There's Salazar. Sends it back for Villarreal. Fires it into the middle of the field right off Ramirez. Ball deep for Presley. Goes out off Our Lady of the Lake, so the Bronx can throw it in. Well, Bronx had a few minutes of sustained pressure, during which point they scored that goal at 14:01 from Jessica Suarez off of passes from Intalai and Farstad Eriksson. But recently it's gone back to some more midfield play. Saints are doing a nice job of bottling up the Bronx attack. There's Hanig with it in the middle. Pass to her left. Comes off of Barrera. Sends it forward. Looking up the gut. There comes Presley streaking across the screen. And ball gets knocked off of her, and it goes out beyond the goal line for a goal kick. Jessica Suarez takes the seat. Blanca Rodriguez is coming in for UTPA. Rodriguez didn't play at Texas Southern, a 5'3" freshman forward out of Visco, North Carolina. Approaching the 30-minute mark in the first half. There's Barrera now on the right. Oh, looks like we've got some drummers in the stands. There we go. Hanig's kick goes off of Tierney and out. So that'll be a goal kick, rather a corner kick for the Bronx.
Now playing for the Saints, number 23, Carolina Aguilar, number 10, Stephanie Diaz.
But first, Stephanie Diaz takes a seat. Carolina Aguilar is in. Freshman midfielder, 5'4", out of Spring. Playing today with her uncle in attendance. Caitlin Calvert is in for the Bronx. Frida Farstad Eriksson takes a seat. Hadley Tucker gets ready to take the corner. Shot gets deflected. Bronx try another shot, deflected again. Now a wall of defenders for Our Lady of the Lake stands strong off of the first corner kick of the match. Erica Gonzalez sends it out beyond center. I'm told Aguilar's parents are watching today from Spring. David and Monica, as well as her little brother David. Thanks for pulling this one in. Hanig gives back for Smith. Her shot hits off of Pauline Fields. Ball in the middle. Fields coming up on the left. Sends it into Tucker. And now Rodriguez takes it up on the right side. Rodriguez one defender to beat. The ball knocked out. She'll throw it in as Maggie Miller was the last to touch it. Or actually she'll give it to Tucker to throw in. Rodriguez gets the throw in. Kind of knocked into the corner. Finds Hannig. Hannig along the goal line, sends the centering pass, but it's headed away. Bronx get another throw in. A good opportunity for UTPA. Straight into the corner. Tucker trying to get towards the net. Ball's knocked away by Salazar and out. Tucker will throw it in again. Tosses it over defender. Rodriguez in trying to get it, and it's knocked out again by Our Lady of the Lake. And the 85th throw in of the last couple of moments. This one's going to get loose from the sideline and be kicked all the way down towards the Bronx net. Caitlin Calvert comes streaking out of nowhere to get ahead of a forward that's Villarreal. And get it back to Gonzalez so the Bronx could escape a scoring opportunity. But now a throw-in coming for Our Lady of the Lake. Bouncing shot coming towards net, and Gonzalez comes out of the net, grabs it, and rolls it forward so the Bronx get back on. Hannig coming up the middle. Moving a little to the right. It's up to Smith. Smith taps it forward to Rodriguez. Rodriguez back to her left. That's Intulai. Sends it forward, but to the side of the goal and out. Goal kick coming up. UTPA fans starting to yell. Calvert for Barrera, or rather for Bruns. Sends it forward, that's Barrera. Barrera had one defender to beat, but then a few more get back there. Ball comes up to Tierney. Smith fires it forward to the right of the net. Another goal kick coming up for Our Lady of the Lake. It's like we got about 12 minutes left in the half. Bronx up 1-0. Been that way since the 14:01 mark. Jessica Suarez buried a pass from Amy Intulai. The initial pass from Frida Firestad Erickson put the Bronx up. Bronx have had some other opportunities. There have been a few saves by Lopez. There was one shot that went off the post. Now Gonzalez getting busy in the net for the Bronx. Smith sends to the left. Headed by Barrera. Intulai comes in and leaping up to make the save, Lopez. Bodies flying all over the place as the Bronx retake control. Ball to the middle for Hanig. Sends it up towards Rodriguez. Coming in one-on-one. Tries to beat her defender. Does. Has a second defender to beat now, who takes the ball away. Now a sliding tackle by Rodriguez. Trying to get to the ball before it can go out. Can't. But the Bronx retain. So throw-in comes quickly to Smith. Smith working one-on-one. Moves to her left. Passes it back to, well, there's nobody there, so Our Lady of the Lake's going to take over and kick it down the field. Ramirez sends it back up. That was for Presley, and now it comes back again. Calvert on the ball. Hanig along the sideline. Step ahead for Barrera. And kicked out. Throw in for Salazar coming up. Barrera can't get to it as it gets knocked away by Miller. And now a save made by Lopez. The ball heads out along the Bronx goal line, so, oh, but it was off the Bronx, so corner kick coming up for Our Lady of the Lake. It's the first time we've had a ball go off the wall. I'm sure the ball shaggers love it. Because if you're on the other side and the ball goes, it can roll for a while if you're not there. Substitution for Our Lady of the Lake. Haley Tierney has taken a seat. And Grayson Manfredo is in. Freshman out of Round Rock. Rodriguez sends it back for Tucker. Into the middle for Bruns. Ramirez kicks it up, looking for Barrera, but Miller gets in the way. Still, the Bronx have something brewing with Smith. Smith at the top of the box. Ball gets launched away. Intolai tries to come in to play it, as Aguilar gets involved. One on three trying to develop. 5 minutes left in the first half. Bronx with a 1-0 lead. Off Barrera and out beyond the goal line. Another goal kick coming up. Ball comes up the sideline for Our Lady of the Lake. Bronx have been trying to get that ball, haven't had much success. Now it's trickling in towards the net, so they'll just kick it out towards the wall. Force Our Lady of the Lake to throw it in. Rodriguez sends it ahead looking for Smith, but knocked away. Now towards center. About 3 minutes to go in the half. Bronx up 1-0. Rodriguez keeps it in. Salazar. Pass to her right, looking for Manfredo. Bruns has it. Puts it up for Hanig. About 2 minutes left in the half.
2 minutes, 2 minutes.
Ball back for Gonzalez. And Manfredo makes Gonzalez pick it up. Hanig. Tucker. As we reach the 1 minute mark in the half. Bronx bringing it up, play still alive. Shot gets kicked up in the air off the defender. Rodriguez sends it back for Bruns. Bronx looking for one more opportunity before the half ends. 40 seconds to go. Salazar, sliding tackle. And we're about 20 seconds to go. Smith bringing it up quickly.
9, 8.
About the 10-second countdown going on, and the ball goes out, so
4.
That's effectively the end of the half.
2, 1.
And the UTPA Bronx have a 1-0 lead over the Our Lady of the Lake University Saints at the half. Taking a look at the scoring, there was one goal to speak of. It was Jessica Suarez at 14:01 from Amy Intulai and Frida Farstad Eriksson. Taking a look at some of the numbers. Bronx with 9 shots compared to 3 by the Saints. Bronx 3 shots on goal, 2 by the Saints. 2 corner kicks for the Bronx, 1 for the Saints. 3 fouls by the Bronx, 2 by the Saints. 1 offsides for the Saints, none for the Bronx. I'll give you all these numbers, but the only ones that matter. 1-0, the Bronx lead the Saints at the half. We're going to take a time out. Coming up on the halftime report, we're going to show you a little bit of this week's episode of Bron Country. Or we're not. We're going to take a time out. We'll be back in a moment with more on the halftime report. This is Bronx Soccer.
We pursue excellence in the classroom and strive to achieve our potential. We compete on the field with integrity,
with respect,
and in the pool with distinction.
We are strong leaders in our community and gain values from our biggest fans.
We continue the legacy of commitment to our universities, to our coaches, teammates, and most importantly to you.
We learn, we compete, we inspire.
We are the Western Athletic Conference.
They are the dreamers and the promise of the future. They are the hope who will lead us to tomorrow. They are the givers who have the passion to serve. They are the visionaries who will celebrate discovery. They will make a difference. They will change South Texas.
UTPA women's soccer looks to keep its undefeated streak alive. We catch up with a former Bronx baseball player who's tearing up the minor leagues, and the former player lead the men's golf team. This is Bron Country. Hey everyone, and welcome to Bron Country. I'm Jonah Goldberg. The UTPA women's soccer team got off to one of the best starts ever by a new Division I program in Texas, going 4-0-2. The last team to get off to such a good start? Abilene Christian. And of course, the Bronx faced the Rams on Friday in the first neutral site match and first match on turf in program history, falling 5-1. Hannah Spetz scored her first career goal, and Aubrey Coley played better than the numbers might suggest, making a career-high 9 saves. 41 hours later, we're at the same field, this time the Bronx facing host Incarnate Word, and Aubrey Coley continued to stand on her head. Made 6 of her career-high 11 saves in the first half. Final minute of the half, Marcela Ramirez sends it ahead for Amy Intulai, who heads it home. Despite getting outshot 10-3, the Bronx lead 1-0 at the half. Mid-second half, match tied at 1. Frida Farstad Eriksson with the free kick, sends it deep into the box, and Andrea Barrera finishes it. Barrera's 6th goal of the season. Bronx win, 2-1.
It was a great performance from the team. We were very happy to go up to San Antonio and win. It's very important that we beat teams from San Antonio. I think it's a big win for the Valley. So to go there and win, it's a big achievement for the Valley and the community and everyone involved with UTPA soccer.
Look at those WAC standings. UTPA still leading the way after clinching a winning record in non-conference play. 2 matches on tap for the Bronx this week. They finished the 6-match road trip at Texas Southern before finally coming home to face Our Lady of the Lake on Saturday at 7 at Edinburgh Baseball Stadium.
Well, we're happy to be home because we'll be on the road for five straight games. 4 of those games were home openers for the opposition. We've managed to ruin all their home openers so far. The only loss we had was a neutral site game. So we're happy to actually get back home, get in front of our fans, and hopefully we'll have the same kind of attendance as we did in our inaugural game.
On to volleyball. Bronx at Louisiana Tech Invitational facing the hosts. Start of a big weekend for Haley Durham. Bronx down 3 early, make it 2. More from Durham later. Next point, Krista Freitas, ace. Bronx within 1. Move ahead, the Bronx now with a 1-point lead, and Maria Kleefolk makes it a 2-point lead. Next serve, and this time it's Anjanae Janda serving up an ace. Bronx up 14-11. Late in the first set, tied at 24, and Janda sends it home. The Bronx have set point. That actually happened 9 times in this set. Now we're tied at 26, and the Bronx take the advantage again on a kill by Maria Kleefolk. Tied at 27, not anymore. This time it's Haley Durham finding the hole. Now the Bronx are down 28-29, but Durham ties it again before the Texters take the set 31-29. The Texters go on to win the match 3-1. The next day, the Bronx played their first of 2 against Stephen, and the Bronx won a marathon set 28-26, but dropped the other 3 sets 21-25. Amazing match for Haley Durham, who came up with a career-high 20 kills en route to all-tournament team honors. A season-high 3 Bronx reached double figures in kills, along with Maria Clifo, who had 13, and Anjane Janda, who finished with 10.
Haley, you know, honestly, I think she can still play better, but she had a phenomenal weekend. She was the one that, you know, night in and night out, match in and match out, she was producing. She has done a great job of reducing her errors. You know, definitely helps her hitting percentage when she does that. But you know, the fact that she was able to put up 15 and 20 kills in some 4-set. You know, when you're averaging 5 kills a set, that's pretty incredible.
The Bronx finished up the tournament with New Orleans and finished with a flourish, winning 3-1. Haley Durham continued her mastery with not only 15 kills and 3 blocks, but her first 3 aces of the season. Alicia Watson came up with 11 kills, 2 blocks, and an ace as well.
A win's a win. You know, it's always good to get those under our belt. You know, we've got to get that confidence. We've got to believe that we can do it. You know, we're talented. We're capable of getting these wins. We've just come out on the short end too many times so far. So the fact that we were able to, you know, finish the tournament with that outcome was definitely good, leading into, you know, some stiff competition this coming week.
Here's a look at the WAC standings. Grand Canyon and Kansas City at the top. Chicago State has vaulted forward after beating 4 non-D1s over the weekend. The Bronx have one more non-conference tournament when they face Houston, Texas A&M Corpus Christi, and Nebraska Omaha in Corpus Christi this weekend.
And you know, it's a Nebraska Omaha team that we've seen in the past. You know, haven't seen them on film yet. I'll see them here shortly, but you know, they're starting to play better, I think, than what we saw last year when we played them. Corpus team that we're very familiar with, you know, had a great battle with when they were here last week. So you know, we'll go in and give it our all there. We know what their strengths are. They know what ours are. So I expect another battle with that one. And then Houston, you know, a coaching staff that we're very familiar with. So I think style of play, we're going to have some idea of what they can do. You know, they've got a big outside. I believe she's about 6'4". So it's, you know, a different type of player at that position that we haven't had to contend with yet. But you know, we're going to see some big players, 6'4", 6'5", once we see, you know, teams like and things like that in conference. So it'll be a good test for us and a good, you know, preview of what we'll see come WAC time.
The San Antonio Spurs are fresh off of an NBA championship, and now the Bronx is going to get a key member of the Spurs staff. If on Bron Country, we take you inside the Bronx Stadium, Spurs chaplain.
We pursue excellence in the classroom and strive to achieve our potential. We compete on the field with integrity,
On the court with respect.
And in the pool with distinction.
We are strong leaders in our community and gain values from our biggest fans.
We continue the legacy of commitment to our universities, to our coaches, to our teammates, and most importantly to you.
We learn, we compete, we inspire.
We are the Western Athletic Conference.
The ball on the right wing goes for the tie, and he does it again! Nolan straight to the hoop, ties the game! With 3, with 2, the desperation heave goes in! Jack Bowler from half court! Bronx win! Get your Bronx basketball season tickets now by calling 665-2221 or logging on to UTPABronx.com. This commercial is brought to you by Lax Furniture, an official sponsor of the University of Texas Pan American Intercollegiate Athletics. Above all else, the San Antonio Spurs are known for one thing: winning. The UTPA men's basketball team is building towards being known the same way. So when Bronx head coach Dan Hipsher learned that Spurs chaplain Rich Garza was visiting the area, he pounced on the opportunity to have Garza visit his team.
As chaplain for the championship Spurs, the kids, I think, wanted to listen, and Rich had a very heartfelt message about who your friends are, the choices you make in life, and you know, how tough it is to do things the right way and become the right kind of people.
Garza's talk boiled down to one simple phrase that he's been preaching for the last 18 years.
You're not born a winner or a loser, you're born a chooser. You know, so many people are victims in our society, and they always say, man, my family, no, you're not a loser, you're a chooser. And a lot of people think, man, because of my family background, what I got hanging on my wall, my bank account, man, I'm a winner. I said, no, you're not a winner, you're a chooser.
For Garza, it all comes down to making choices, a message that Bronx players found inspiring.
It's an honor. You know, it's a great thing to do. Got from the world champs. You know, they doing things the right way, so hopefully we can learn and put it into what we have coming up this season.
Coach Hipsher has already seen his teams making good choices on and off the court. Most of the team was present for the second summer session, during which time they achieved a team GPA of 3.2. On the court, the Bronx are already showing improvement.
Well, you know, again, a lot of it is new terminology, new techniques for all the kids. So along with the skill development, which a lot of time is put into their ball handling, shooting, you know, skill work type things, along with that we were able to do some team type things so they have an understanding of what they're coming back into in the fall.
The UTPA baseball team has a proud tradition of sending players to the pros. 4 Bronx out of the 34 that have been drafted, and countless more have played at various levels of the minor leagues. Last season, 4 Bronx alumni got together and played for the Roswell Invaders of the Pecos League and won a league championship. This past summer, one of those Bronx alumni, Roger Bernal, won another championship, and he did it just 45 minutes from the UTPA campus with the Rio Grande Valley White Wings of the United League.
It made me feel comfortable because I was my surroundings. I knew where I was going, so you know I like the weather down here. It's fun, and we have a good team down here in Harlingen, so it's been a good time.
Being comfortable certainly helped Bernal, who earned league MVP honors after hitting .301 with 60 runs scored and 26 stolen bases, while playing strong defense at shortstop. And while those numbers may not seem surprising after Bernal hit .414 as a senior for the Bronx in 2012, the minor leagues are a completely different animal.
Professional baseball is fun. It's a grind. We play every day, so you know it's tough to keep your body strong. But the challenge is fun, and yeah, I enjoy it all season long.
Despite an unforgiving schedule of playing every day and taking long bus rides in the middle of the night, Bernal has done his best to keep up with UTPA baseball.
Yes, I still keep up with the website. I look at it and you know try to keep up, see what's going on, see how we're doing, and you know it's good seeing your ex school succeeding, so it's fun.
Bernal finished his Bronx career as the all-time leading hitter at .381. He's now had tremendous success at the professional level with a pair of championships and an MVP award to boot. So his advice to those who want to be just like him?
My advice is just control what you can control, which is your effort. You know, if you work out hard, you practice hard, that's all you can control. You know, besides that, don't worry about it too much. As long as you play the game hard in the right way, you'll be fine.
5 other Bronx playing in the minors this past summer. Let's start with the guys in affiliated ball. Super Sam picking up right where he left off, posting absolutely ridiculous numbers in his rookie season. Street was a perfect 5 for 5 in save opportunities for the Jamestown Jammers in the Pittsburgh Pirates organization, while posting a strikeout to walk ratio of better than 5 to 1. Dustin Knight had a pretty good second season in the San Francisco Giants organization with a 2 to 1 strikeout to walk ratio. Knight held opponents to a .202 average for the Salem Kaiser Volcanoes. Elsewhere, Michael Zuzalik had a strong season out of the bullpen for the Wichita Wingnuts of the American Association with a 2 to 1 strikeout to walk ratio while allowing just a hit per inning. Zuzalik helped his team to a .730 winning percentage, by far the best in minor league baseball this season. Oh yeah, and how about the league championship? Vinny Mejia put up big power numbers for the second year in a row, this time with the Lake Erie Crushers of the Frontier League. Mejia's led his team to the playoffs this season. And Derek Hagee spent some time in the United League with Bernal, playing for both the Fort Worth Cats and the White Wings, hitting .286 in 7 games. Armin Kirikosian was one of the most successful golfers in history, and now he's wearing green, white, and orange again. Next on Bron Country, we introduce you to the men's golf team's new coach. Former Bronx golfer Armin Kirikosian learned that his alma mater needed a new head coach. He was all over it. After all, Kirikosian may have finished up his 2010, but he still bleeds green, white, and orange. Romeo Villarreal has the story.
On August 18th, it was announced that Armin Kirikosian would be the new men's golf coach. One of the first things he did upon receiving the job was get to know his team.
I knew a few of the guys on the team, a few of the older guys, the seniors. The rest of them I didn't know. So upon taking the job, it was nice to see that we have a very mixed team, about 50% international from all over the world, Mexico, France, England, Spain. So it makes for some good and interesting times.
Having played for UTPA from 2006 to 2010, Coach Kier.
Welcome back out to Edinburgh. They call it baseball. To be honest, it is Edinburgh Soccer Stadium. My name's Jonah Goldberg, and here in the second half, we're joined by the one and only Joe Aguilar of other Bronx fame. He'll be filling in for me on a volleyball match on Thursday, and he's done public address for some of our matches in the past, so he's up here to join us for the second half.
Thanks for having me, Jonah.
Always our pleasure to have Joe aboard. Team switch sides. Our Lady of the Lake now moving left to right, wearing the blues, whereas the Bronx are moving right to left, wearing white. I think we've got Joe now. We got you?
Yeah, thanks for having me, Jonah.
Much better.
There we go. Always glad to be out here in Edinburgh enjoying college athletics.
Well, getting to enjoy a good one so far. Bronx with a 1-0 lead. Jessica Suarez with the game's lone goal. That was 14 minutes and 1 second in off of a centering pass, a cross, I should say, from Amy Intulai, and that was preceded by a long lead pass by Frida Farstad Eriksson. Bronx have certainly outshot Our Lady of the Lake, but other than really there was a nice sustained area of attack by the Bronx around the time when they got the goal. Right before that, there had been one off the post. There were a couple of saves right after. Really, there's been a lot of midfield play, and Our Lady of the Lake had a little bit of pressure towards the closing stages of the second half, or rather the first half. But Erica Gonzalez was able to stand tall in net in her third start and her first since August 29th, a 4-0 win over Grambling State. That was on the road. It was the start of the Bronx recently completed 6-match road trip. Saw the Bronx go 3-1-2 while building their 5-1-3 record. About 700 fans in attendance. I think the official number was something like 670 for this Saturday matinee. The Saturday night contest.
A lot of youth soccer teams out here, especially the young ladies. Always good to see them, and of course they're out here because the ladies are on the field tonight.
What was really cool was that halftime they had a couple of youth teams go on the field, and they got to play on a real college soccer field, which I'm sure was a big thrill for them.
And of course that group was from Harlingen, and of course we've got a Harlingenite starting tonight.
That's correct, so I'm sure they're thrilled to be able to see Gonzalez in net.
Now entering for the Saints, number 28, Brandy Salazar. For number 6, Daniela.
Brandy Salazar in, Daniela Colina out for Our Lady of the Lake. Quickly here in the second half. That same substitution happened about midway through the first half. They went back to the starting lineup here in the second half, but subbing out about 2 minutes in. Bronx kept their substitutions out. As you see with the ball right now is Hannah Presley. And she turns around and gives it off to Marcela Ramirez. Bronx trying to get that ball forward. Lady of the Lake back towards the middle. That ball trickle out. Throw-in coming up far side for Hadley Tucker. Tucker was bringing it up, but the ball gets knocked out.
Both teams coming out very aggressive, just like they did at the start of the ball game. Really not getting too close to each other's goals. And as we saw in the middle of the first half, a lot of action going on in the midfield area. So both teams doing a good job of being aggressive and taking control of the ball and really disrupting the offensive potential of the opposing teams.
Bruns sends it all the way back to Gonzalez. And the goalkeeper will kick it back towards center. Finds Smith. Unable to settle it. And the Saints will send it forward. Now here come the Bronx. That's Ramirez. Ramirez is 2 in front of her, so she'll kick it on ahead, and that goes all the way to the goal where Lopez gobbles it up and then sends it out towards the right, where it's picked up by Fields. And Fields fires it ahead. It gets ahead of the defense. And all the way to the goal box where Gonzalez comes out to pick it up. A little pressure coming in as Luckemeyer goes over, but Gonzalez picks up the ball and will punt it out. Hanig grabs it in the middle, up to Suarez. Suarez, the lone goal today. So off to the right, and there's a deep drive headed towards the bullpen and up and over the wall for a ground rule. Wait a minute.
Wrong sport.
No, Gonzalez, or check that. That's Our Lady of the Lake. They kick it out, and ball goes out, and a throw in for Tucker. Ramirez up along the left side. Ooh. Hanig went down. Looked like she might have gotten kicked in the knee or maybe in the shin. She gets helped up and
looks like she's going to stay in. Little limp on there.
And she'll walk it off, and Bronx will get a freebie. Amy Intuli backing up. Intuli sends it straight on goal, and a sliding stop by Lopez. You can hear some of the drummers who have switched. I think they switched sides of the field now behind the net that the Bronx are attacking at.
Yeah, that's Pat's from Intuli just a little too far in front of her Bronx teammates.
Hanig, cross center. Hanig fires it up and over the net and out.
A couple of long bombs coming from the Bronx ladies this evening.
It's interesting that Lopez doesn't take her own goal kicks.
I've only seen her do it once tonight.
But it's worked for Our Lady of the Lake as they've got the ball and they're heading into their offensive zone. But the Bronx defense back to stop it. Ramirez kicks it ahead. Runs in the middle. Past her left to Hanig. Up and out of the reach of Suarez. Now trickling along the sideline. Ball sent back. Presley is waiting for it as Stephanie Diaz picks it up for the Saints. Ball head to Salazar. Ooh. Well, going up for the header and bodies collide. I don't know if they made head-to-head contact. Presley up almost right away. Slower to get up, but up. Tegan Luckemeyer.
How about a round of applause for her, ladies and gentlemen, as she gets back up to her feet.
That's always scary when players collide like that.
In other sports, they have the concussion rules, and so there's something that you've got to be really careful with.
When two players go up for a header right next to each other, you have the potential for something really dangerous to happen. But luckily, looks like they may hopefully just have gotten the wind knocked out of them, and as both are up and playing. Bronx trying to take control in their defensive zone. And ball gets kicked up the sideline and it's kicked back in by Glad Bagaryu, but since he's the coach, that means it was out of bounds.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a substitution for the Saints now entering, number 15, Jackie Lambarida, for number 4, Haley Tierney.
Jackie Lambarida in, Haley Tierney out for Our Lady of the Lake. Saints have been relatively liberal with their substitutions today. Bronx have made a few in their own right, including right there, where Allison Smith takes her first breather of the match, and Hannah Spetz is in for the first time today. Spetz is, I think this is the first match she's actually come off the bench in. She generally starts, but Bronx have changed up their starting lineup a few times this year. They've wanted to get everybody, or a lot of people, opportunities to start or just get the extra playing time. You know, Coach Bagaryu said that it doesn't necessarily matter who starts. It's, you know, part of it's the minutes you play, and part of it's just getting everybody opportunities. And in your last non-conference match, this is, you know, your last opportunity to try out more combinations before WAC play begins.
Because once WAC play starts, you want to make sure you've got the right combinations. Because when those games really start to count for real.
Another substitution for the Bronx now entering.
Rita Farstad Erickson is back in. Replaces Amy Intulai, who gets her first break in the match. Shot comes on, but Lopez stops it and sends it out. Out at center, Bronx try and pick it up. Goes back towards Presley on the defensive area. Pass over to left. Comes over to Ramirez. Now into the middle. That's Spetz. Over to her right. Tucker fires it up. Bronx trying to send it forward, but it's sent right back by the Our Lady of the Lake defense.
Now entering for the Bronx, number 21, Sheridan Mechanic, for number 16, Renee Brewer.
Sheridan Mechanic in for the first time today. She started quite a few matches herself. Mechanic, a 5'6" sophomore out of Snohomish, Washington. Mechanic, a transfer from Eastern Washington University. Replaces Renee Bruns, the transfer from Nichols State.
You're mentioning the liberty of the Saints substitutions. The Bronx have just filed in 4 substitutions in the last 2 minutes.
As soon as I said it, it's that broadcaster's jinx. But as I always like to say, if I can control what's going on in the field, I'm not getting paid enough.
Or we'd be retired.
Spetz with the ball for the Bronx. Has it broken up. Mechanic. Comes towards the left. Presley. Presley kicks it ahead. Farstad Erickson out in front. Tries to slide for it. And it goes out beyond the goal line. Off the Bronx.
Just a little too far in front for her to be able to get something going with that ball. And, of course, he just gets away from her and goes back over to Our Lady of the Lake.
Nice try on the slide. If she had been maybe a couple inches closer, she would have maybe at least tried to get that ball off the defender and then set up a corner kick. As is. Ball off the Bronx in the midfield, comes back to the Saints. And Fields trying to get it across the timeline. Can't.
Bronx defense been really stingy this second half. And just like that, they take it away from the Saints.
Suarez. Ramirez. And that one's headed out. I think we have another substitution coming. This one for the Saints. I think that's Villarreal and Fields coming out. Like Gabriela Amaya coming in.
Ladies and gentlemen, a pair of substitutions
and
for the Saints.
Katie Huerta.
Number 20, Katie Huerta for number 21, Pauline Fields. Number 20, Huerta for number 21, Fields. And number 11, Gabrielle Amaya for number 9, Tegan Luckymeyer.
Amaya replaced
number 11,
Tegan Luckymeyer, not Villarreal. Villarreal's still out there. 3 for 4, I'll take it. I've given my binoculars to our Intrepid Stats crew to my left. We have the official score out on the field and a walkie-talkie, of course, but always good for the stats inputter to have the binoculars as a backup in case the walkie-talkie were to fail or just to be able to see anything. So I'm just relying on my glasses to show me what's out on the field.
And we're really not that close to the field.
A little different once we get into the new complex. Although, honestly, I found this view to be much better than I expected it to be before we came in. I think it's actually a pretty good view of a soccer field. And at least for our own players, it's been fairly generally easy to recognize them. Obviously, with opposing teams, there's a little more of a learning curve since I don't necessarily know what they look like. And if the numbers aren't as big on the front of the uniform as they are in the back. But you also start to see where they're playing. And so Natalia Gonzalez makes her first appearance, placing Hadley Tucker. Gonzalez, a 5'5" junior out of Toa Baja, Puerto Rico. She transferred here from Inter-American University of Puerto Rico. So the Bronx getting 3 non-freshmen into the match. Which is what they have available in terms of non-freshmen. Opportunity for Huerta. Being forced into the corner by Presley. Ball heads out along the goal line off of Huerta, so a goal kick for the Bronx. Nice job by Presley to extinguish that opportunity.
One thing that we're noticing here is the speed of the Bronx players. A little bit to their advantage here tonight. They're able to get back in their defense before Our Lady of the Lake can really set up any type of offense.
Well, especially in these later stages of the match as the clock continues to tick and, you know, we're less than 30 minutes left. the Bronx are such a well-conditioned team that it gives them such an edge during the second half and later in the second half as well. Bronx early on were conducting 3-a-day practices. And they weren't necessarily, it wasn't, 3 2-hour-a-day practices or anything like that. Because if you're going to conduct 3, you've got to go a little shorter. But it gets you used to being out there for a lot. And then if they only had 2 practices, then they go a little longer. But they also practice in sometimes pretty hot conditions because they're practicing 10 a.m. or, 4 p.m. Sun's out. And you're going hard for a couple hours. Well, that can give you something when it's a cool night tonight. It's down. So to them, this is nothing.
Absolutely, and you're talking about the time references, and in South Texas, time really doesn't matter. It's 100 degrees already when they're practicing.
And of course, right now it's 81. It feels great. Andrea Barrera replaced Blanca Rodriguez a few moments ago. Barrera just had an opportunity near the net, but now Presley coming up, and her attempt is knocked out across the goal line, and that'll set up a corner kick for the Bronx. And they're not going to kick it in. They're just going to start up on the corner because everybody was set up on the other side, trying to catch the defense off guard, but Our Lady of the Lake able to get back into position, so the Bronx sends it back to the midfield. Mechanic over to the right to Gonzalez. Up ahead, too long for Barrera, and that ball trickling towards the white line and out. But it was off of Our Lady of the Lake, so corner kick coming up for the Bronx.
You would think you'd see a little more hustle on Our Lady of the Lake defense there. She just literally shielded the Bronx opponent or player to keep her from kicking the ball, so she was unaware that it was off of one of her own teammates.
Yeah. So a corner kick for UTPA, and this time they're going to send it in towards the net, but leaping out to grab it, dropping it, but picking it back up is Lopez. And she'll just roll it out to her defense, where Huerta picks it up. Ball comes deep ahead. Bronx back to get it.
We were talking about the speed factor. You see, right about 2 seconds ago, we had 2 Our Lady of the Lake players up against 4 Bronx players. So the Bronx ladies are just getting back on defense just that much faster, and therefore not really allotting this Saint team to take any shots on goal.
Well, Saints just tried their first shot on goal of the half, but Gonzalez came out to block it. Great play by Gonzalez. She played right to the ball. It's a dangerous play. If you don't make it, that's a goal. But you're cutting down the angle for the attacker. Another opportunity into the box. Gonzalez knocks it away, and now the ball is kicked forward right to the midfield. So Gonzalez tested. She stands tall with her 3rd and 4th saves of the match. Bronx holding on to that 1-0 lead. Barrera heads it away, looking for Spetz, who gets knocked into. Spetz back up. Ball dribbling along the sideline. Presley watching it as it goes out.
Saints starting to pick up the pace here in the second half, the latter part of the second half.
Well, time's not their friend. They've got about 20 minutes left to try and score a goal. while preventing the Bronx from scoring another one. Barrera sends it back for Suarez. Top right corner of the box. Suarez loses it, it goes out. Throw in coming for the Saints. Ball gets kicked towards the midfield. There's Spets, net and high. What something like that does is it also kills some time. It takes time to, goalie gets the ball out, puts it on the corner. They wait for their teammates to set up their spots. And, you know, we're at the 69-minute mark. So there's 21 minutes left in regulation. When you've got the lead, every second that ticks off the clock is advantage to you. Of course, the Bronx would love to score at least one more. Give them a little breathing room, margin for error.
Now entering for your Bronx, number 5, Emily Ortiz for number 14.
Emily Ortiz back in. Zinnia Hannig takes her first break of the match.
Number 5, Ortiz. Number 14, Hannig.
Crowd kind of shifting over here behind the goal of the Bronx. Haven't heard the drummers anymore.
In addition to regular fans, you know, I see some of our other teams in attendance. Men's basketball's here supporting UTPA women's soccer. Out there sitting with most of the rest of the students behind the Bronx net. Long shot on, knocked down by Lopez. Rolls it back out. '71-minute mark. And that ball trickles out. Throw in coming for the Bronx right at center field, but first, looks like we have substitution. Jessica Suarez taking a seat.
Ladies and gentlemen, a substitution for the Bronx, number 2,
Allison Smith is back in.
Number 7, Jessica Suarez. Again, substitution for the Bronx, number 2, Smith, for number 7, Suarez.
You know, Smith, cool story that you'll see in the next couple of weeks on Bron Country. She's from Orange, California. So she grew up. As a shot comes wide of the net. And then after getting this spot in the UTPA roster, not only did she come down to play, her entire family came down. Her family has been down for about 6 weeks. Spoke to her father earlier this week, and he was telling me that they're still unpacking. But that's a pretty cool support system right there. They follow you down.
Got to be flexible in your employment to be able to do that.
And a foul in midfield. That one's going against the Bronx. Of course, on this week's episode of Bron Country, we have several stories on women's soccer. You'll see highlights from this match, post-game reaction as well. We've got a story on the Bronx incredible, historic non-conference slate. Looking forward to the WAC season. And we've got a story on,
ladies and gentlemen, we've reached that magical point of the evening.
The two Bronx who came the farthest to play here on this first ever UTPA women's soccer team. Frida Farstad Eriksson and Hanna Spets, who had a 5,500-mile journey from Sweden. Well, Farstad Eriksson had about a 5,500-mile journey. Spets only had about a 5,300-mile journey. She's from Karlstad, Spets from Karlstad, Farstad Eriksson from Stockholm.
We've seen a couple of setups there in that middle area. They just quite haven't been able to get together. The Saints have. A little while ago, about 5 minutes ago, we saw a cross kick coming in and looked like they were trying to set up maybe a header for the goal, but that was just a little out of her reach. And then right now, she just wasn't able to get her foot on that one quite properly to get that one headed in the right direction. So the Saints really trying to mix things up on offense here in the latter part of the second half.
Ball goes out, throw in coming for Our Lady of the Lake. Bronx taking it ahead. Behind Barrera. Now Presley streaking up left side of the field. It's ahead again looking for Barrera, but it's over her head and to the right of the goal, so Lopez out to settle it. Now Lopez has been tested in that net tonight, and yeah, she allowed one in, but been forced to make some stops. Now I know officially she only has 3 saves, but she's done a nice job of stopping other balls that may not have been headed for the goal at that time, but might have been otherwise had she not grabbed them. Because she's faced 12 shots. Our Lady of the Lake with 6 shots by comparison. Each team with 4 shots on goal, though.
And by doing that, you take away the quick scoring opportunity from your opponent, because you never know if someone's going to dart across. Or
Barrera, but it's grabbed by Lopez.
Yeah, because you never know if there's someone trailing, someone coming right across, and maybe just looking to take advantage of the lackadaisy approach of the goaltender. So you've got to be aggressive and come out and get those. But as you mentioned earlier, sometimes you play with fire because if you miss it, you give the other team an opportunity to get an easy one in there.
Well, it's high risk, high reward.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a substitution for the Bronx now entering number 3, Hadley Tucker.
Hadley Tucker's back in for UTPA. Natalia Gonzalez takes the seat.
Tucker enters for number 4, Gonzalez.
Tucker, one of 9 Texans on this roster. That's out of 21. So 40% of the roster. A little more, actually, but.
Who's counting?
I mean, we could be exact and say 43, but. Round numbers. That's what people like.
They're easier to absorb and visualize.
And just like that, another 1-on-2. Bronx get back there to stop it.
And again, we see the speed of the Bronx. in eliminating those breakaway goals and keeping the Saints from picking up maybe an easy goal or an easy attempt on goal.
Well, the Bronx have also been able to keep the legs fresh today as they've used every available player with the exception of Aubrey Coley, the other goalkeeper.
Number 21, Fields, enters for number 8, Villarreal. Also entering number 9, Tegan Luckymeyer. For number 11, Gabriela Amaya.
Fields and Luckymeyer back in.
Number 11, Amaya.
For Our Lady of the Lake.
And entering number 4, Haley Tierney. For number 10.
Tierney in as well. Diaz takes the seat.
Tierney for number 10, Diaz.
So Our Lady of the Lake making a few substitutions late. There's just over 10 minutes remaining. Villarreal, Amaya, Diaz take a seat as Tierney, Luckymeyer, and Fields come in. So that's that round number again. It's actually 11 minutes remaining, but again, who's counting? I can answer that. Scorekeeper.
The birthday boy.
Yeah, Ray Silva. His 24th birthday. Happy birthday to him. As the ball gets popped up, as Spets was headed towards the net, but it gets knocked away. Presley on a hop to Barrera. Barrera looked like she wanted to pass it back. Instead turns around, goes with the left foot. Now Smith sends, just misses. About a foot wide of the net. There's that drummer.
Ladies and gentlemen, substitution for the Saints now entering number 7, Grayson Manfredo. For number 12,
Grayson Manfredo replaces Stefania Vasquez.
Number 12, Vasquez.
And again, the Bronx defense doing a great job in just halting the ball movement of the Saints.
Bronx looking to put an exclamation point on their non-conference season. 5-1-3 entering tonight's non-conference finale. Hey, there's some singing going on now in the student section. I heard UTPA in there. Can't understand what else they're saying, but whatever it is, I'm sure it's a
for the Bronx.
Yeah. It's called context clues.
The UTPA and the Green Thundersticks are the context clues.
Yeah. Thundersticks are a nice touch.
Yeah, they are, always.
Especially much better in an outdoor venue than in an indoor venue.
Well, we're glad that it's in the 80s so that we can have the roof open tonight.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, Lopez.
She dives to stop that ball. It looked like it was going to go wide anyway, but because of her dive, it hits off her and goes out, and that's a corner kick for the Bronx. You have to dive for that ball. It's too close to the goal not to. And now the Bronx get a good scoring opportunity. With about 7.5 minutes left. Corner comes in, and it's smothered by Lopez. Farstad Erickson on the kick. And the long kick comes out. That one is headed towards Gonzalez, who comes sliding out of the net to stop the ball. That ball heads out.
Ladies and gentlemen, substitution for the Saints, number 17, Abigail Hernandez enters.
Abigail Hernandez in for Amaris Tavares with 6.5 minutes to go. Bronx have been up 1-0 since 14:01. Jessica Suarez, the lone goal for UTPA. Amy Intulai and Frida Farstad Erickson with the assists. Calvert sends it up. Ball sent back. Gonzalez grabs it. Headed on by Barrera, but then taken away by Our Lady of the Lake.
You know, this Bronx defense really playing well tonight. And as you mentioned earlier in the broadcast, they've been playing well all preseason or non-conference season, with the exception of one game where they allotted five goals. But other than that, they've been pretty solid on defense and keeping the opponent out of their goal. And
that match, Abilene Christian ended up with 14 shots on goal. Aubrey Coley had to make 9 saves, which at the time was a career high. She really didn't play that badly. She played well, but it was really the first time the Bronx had been peppered with so many shots. They were peppered with a similar number of shots the very next match against Incarnate Word, beat them 2-1, so they made the adjustment pretty quickly.
And it's good to see them playing defense as good as they are, because once you get into conference play, they need to know that they are that good.
Well, certainly confidence shouldn't be a problem for the Bronx. With a winning record in non-conference play, entering WAC play. The shot goes over the net. Just a little under 4 minutes left. Bronx have had a heck of a non-conference season. And they've really put the WAC on notice. They've got the best record in the WAC. And that's in non-conference play, of course. And everybody plays different teams because they're in different regions and yada, yada, yada. But a win's a win.
Absolutely. And then, of course, you've got to look at the fact that they're a new team. So there really isn't a lot of teams to pick from in order to put your non-conference schedule together.
That's right.
Because a lot of these teams or schools that have been in existence for a long time already have their schedules made up years in advance.
Yeah, I remember when Coach Bugariu started, I asked him about, are you going to play so-and-so? You can play so-and-so? And he's like, yeah, they're scheduled through 2016 already. I was like, really? So a lot of that happens early on. You're right. It's an issue. It makes it difficult for a first-year program. Bronx put together a pretty good schedule, and they've done really well against that schedule. And a lot of road matches, which have tested the Bronx, and they've played well, and it also means a lot of home matches next year when the teams return the favor.
And that's always a plus.
2.5 minutes to go. Long kick comes into the middle. 2 minutes to go. Gonzalez comes diving out of the goal to smother that ball. Yeah, the stats won't show a large number of saves for Gonzalez, but she's made them. Because that's not a shot on goal, but she's stopping the shot on goal from happening. You know, it's what we talked about a little bit with Lopez. And, you know, stats can mean anything you want them to mean, but at the end of the day, what's most important is what you've seen on the match. That's why it's always so important to watch these matches. Bronx have played a heck of a match. Had a heck of a non-conference season. Foul on Our Lady of the Lake, and it's Bronx ball with about 1 minute 10 seconds left.
Saints running out of time, and the Bronx, of course, trying to eclipse the time so that way we can go in with a win here tonight. Ball is kicked deep.
Lady of the Lake back, and it heads towards the net where it's picked up by Lopez. Time ticking down, about 45 seconds left. Ball heads out. Bronx will throw it in, and no rush to do so. 30 seconds to go. Ramirez sends it deep, and by the Saints defense. 20 seconds. Spets kicking it up. Bronx going on the attack. Up 1-0 with 20 seconds left. Not letting up. Sometimes the best defense is a good offense. There's your countdown going on in the background. 2 and 1. And the Bronx close out the non-conference slate 6-1-3 with a 1-0 win over the Our Lady of the Lake University Saints. Well, the lone goal belongs to Jessica Suarez at 14:01. It comes from Amy Intulai on a cross, and then before that, a long pass ahead from Frida Farstad Eriksson. We look at some of the final numbers. Bronx 16 shots, Our Lady of the Lake with 6. Bronx 6 shots on goal, Our Lady of the Lake with 4. 5 corners for the Bronx, 1 for Our Lady of the Lake. Erica Gonzalez picks up her second shutout in 3 starts, making 4 saves. She gets the win. The loss goes to Gabriela Lopez. Played well in her own right, made 5 saves. Give you the numbers, but the ones that matter, 1-0. The Bronx beat Our Lady of the Lake and finished non-conference play 6-1-3. Bronx are back in action 1 week from tonight, Saturday. It's a 7 o'clock start, 6:50 pre-match show as the Bronx open up Western Athletic Conference play against the New Mexico State University Aggies. You can catch all the action right here through our YouTube account via utpabronx.com. But for now, for Joe Aguilar joining me for the second half, our producer-engineer Romeo Villarreal, and our entire camera crew. And Jack Falla, wherever you are. This is Jonah Goldberg saying goodnight from Edinburgh Stadium, where the Bronx beat the Saints 1-0.